Hello and welcome to Coaching Think Talk. I am Coach Shaun from Life Coach Philippines, and this is coaching for sane parenting. This coaching conversation are for parents who are wanting to create a mentally fit environment at home. And my mission is I want to be able to help parents create a mentally fit ecology at your household so that you can live a peaceful and harmonious relationship at home. And that is all that we want. We want to be able to see our children, thrive when it's our time for us to leave this place, that we will be at peace, that they will do well when the time comes. Thank you for joining me live today, and please leave your digital footprints by letting us know where you are at, where are you are coming from today. Asan ba kayo sa Pilipinas or sa ibang bansa? Where are you at right now? Please do tag your friends and circulate this video to help us reach more individuals who might be in need of what I'll be sharing for you this session. You may also give some shout outs to people you want to greet and reach out with some inspiring message. Tag them in there, invite them, tell them give them some inspiring messages for them to be able to start their day. I'm sure they already starting their day, but they continue on and have that energy for them to continuously pursue all of their dreams and also the things that they do in their career, in their work, and also in their relationship. If you are watching this on a replay, please do comment #replay. I am streaming via FB page of Life Coach Philippines and YouTube channel Coach AI Connect. If you are new to the platform, please like and follow and also subscribe to the page. All right. So thank you very much and good morning. Today I'm going to talk to you about 3 tips to get your kids to do the things the first time. Yan, I think that's one of the biggest challenges that we have as parents. Na we want to be able to make sure that our children are able to do the things that they need to do. Especially when growing up, di ba? May mga bagay sila na kailangan nila matutunan so that they can be independent pag mag-isa na sila, when they have their own families, and also in the future when they have their own kids. But first, let me introduce myself. If this is the first time you're joining me, if this is the first time you're seeing this face, if this is the first time that you are encountering me, I am Coach Shaun. I'm a professional life and mental health coach from Life Coach Philippines. My area of focus is in the area of self-leadership. So if you are someone who wants to be intentional in the way you feel, the way you think, and the way you respond, that is where I help individuals. That all of this that you think about, all the things that you feel about, equates to the kind of experiences, the kind of relationship that you want to create in your life, in your family, in your with your children, with your spouse, with your boss, with your colleagues, with your people, and even also greater connection with God. Yeah, kung that is something that you want to do, to be intentional, that is where I focus on the area. I help people have clarity on the kind of life that they want to live so that you know, um, they can fulfill their dreams and their desires in life. That is something that I aspire to help individuals to start living their dreams, start having clarity on their desires. Right? Because at times, we get be so confused with a lot of different things because of the demands of life that we get to lose track of what's important, which is our family. The things that we do in our life is because of the family that we have. And one of my strengths is humor, and humor plays a very important role in confidence and courage. And I've realized that for the past 39 years of my life, and during the time that I am able to have a deeper understanding of who I am and what I wanted to do, and also the world and how people are influenced, is humor is one of the greatest things that every one of us needs to have for us to be confident with all of the things that we're doing in life. At times we get to challenge ourselves, we get to question if this thing is really for us or we want to do something more. Diba? Minsan may mga ganun tayong conversations, personal conversations. But when you have humor in there, all of the pains that you have, all of the sufferings that you have, you're able to utilize that in your advantage because it's something that you could also utilize to connect with others. That is one of the great deal about humor if you're using positive humor. Kasi may mga negative humor din na hindi kagandahan. And it's not something that other people would appreciate and would like. But when you're able to master this, you're able to work on this. This is a skill that you can continuously master. I've been doing this coaching profession full time since I left the corporate world back in 2019, after 14 years of successful career in the corporate world. My focus is in the call center industry, and one of the things I do in there is mostly in planning, scheduling, and real time management. So that is what I do, which landed me a directorship role in my previous company, which I'm so blessed in there, as far as my growth is concerned and what I have achieved. So, I'm so blessed. And I am on a mission to help 1 million parents create a mentally fit ecology at home so that they can have a peaceful and harmonious relationship. Of course, that is something naman na lahat nating gustong gawin, and something that we would want to move forward yung we want to move forward in making sure that all our life is good, all our relationship are good. All right. So if you want to check out, if you're looking for a parenting group for you to be able to, understand more how you can do parenting, how you can assist people, I would like to invite you to the Effective Parenting Without Shouting and Spanking FB group. This is a group and a community I created for parents who wants to, have a peaceful relationship with their children. I am the type of guy who spanks and shout at my kids when they were growing up. And I realized how important it is for us to have a more deeper emotional connection with our children so that we can help them. Yung pagpapalo okay lang naman. That is part of something. Basta it's just sufficient for the our children to learn. But of course, yung malala, yung hindi maganda yon. So that is something that I help you with so that you can parent your children properly. Also, for men out there, I've created a Facebook page which is Inspired Fidelity. And what I do here is I help men, creating a safe space for them, or I will be creating a safe space for them to be able to, express themselves, for them to be able to share their thoughts, their ideas, their vision, their dreams, their desires in life. Kasi tayong mga lalaki, di ba, it's challenging at times to share our feelings and our thoughts and our emotions to others, because this world has created a stereotype of what men should be, and it's not allowing us to show our emotional side of it, because we're human beings as well. We're emotional human beings. We're not far different from our woman counterpart, and that is something that if we start expressing ourselves, we start sharing and speaking the things that we want, and that just changes the way that our mental health goes. That it's 3 times more likely that men commit suicide because of compared to women, because women would tend to seek help more. They are open to help and assistance, but for us men, that's a totally different situation, because when you seek help, it's kind of sometimes people would say not so great things about you. But if you are in a space where it's safe for you, you are secured for you to ask for support and guidance, and that is something that would make it a different life for us, and also would help our children do the same. But if you want to connect with me on a personal level, that is my timeline, Sean Chong De Hoya. If you want to connect with me, you have any questions, you have any clarification thoughts on how we can help you as far as your parenting is concerned, and how, as a man, you want to be able to thrive in your career, in your relationship, this is something, just connect with me. I would be happy to add you. All right. So thank you for joining me, Coach Rizal and Coach Marife. Maraming salamat for the two MBAs, the Tribe Builders. Thank you for joining me. Let's start. Let me share this to you. So one of the biggest challenges of parents is that their children tend to often ignore, our request and direction. This is common. I have a 19 years old daughter, and I have a 15 years old son, and that is one of the challenges that I experienced. Growing up, starting being a dad at an early age of 19, that is one of the biggest challenges, and it's possible at times that our children don't hear us, because at times they are busy. There are times their focus is somewhere else, and the communication that we do for them is not really working. But at times, our children purposely, really ignore us. They ignore us at times when we ask them. Or I've done that as well with my parents. It's something that I've done. I try to ignore my parent as much as possible. Maybe she will forget what she's asking me to do, like throwing away the garbage, or maybe cleaning the dishes. So that is something that I do as well. And the reason behind them ignoring us is they don't want to oblige our request. This is something that is equating to a protest of what you are asking them to do. Or if they don't want to be disturbed, or because they're doing something of this desired behavior that they want. Oftentimes, ang nangyayari, yung my kids, when they're doing something, they're busy doing their work. Watching a video is also work for them, or them, doing something that you feel that is not work, it's work for them. So there's a different, meaning of what work really is. At times we label work as going into the office, doing those things na puts money in the table, but work is very different as far as the way people understand it. So we can't, have that similarity as far as how work is seen by our children and us. And some of these behaviors would last a long time for our children, even if we start, helping them behave. And it can be stressful and frustrating as at times for us. Like I remember the time that I was so frustrated with my son and my daughter that I tended to nasisigawan ko sila, which is a bad thing, by the way. Never shout at your children. Huwag nyo nang gawin yon. Nagawa ko na yun eh. Hindi maganda yung naging result. And that's something that I want to teach children, especially for men out there, to change that. Pag medyo sobrang trigger na, at saka yung mga moms out there, na huwag sumigaw at huwag paluin masyado yung mga bata. You can spank your children, but to an extent. It needs to be limited towards making sure that your children are able to learn. And we tend to fall into a pattern making several requests to get things done. Di ba? Paulit-ulit mo nang sinabi mo na yung una, tapos akala mo gagawin na, tapos after 5 minutes, bumalik ka uli, niremind mo uli, tapos 10 minutes, niremind mo uli, paulit-ulit na nairita ka na lang, tapos ikaw na lang gumawa nung pinapagawa mo sa kanila. And at times, when you talk to them, they would just give you this stare. O di ba, titingnan ka lang, parang, okay, naiintindihan ba ako nitong anak ko? Or ano ba, iniinis ba ako ito? Or binibigyan ka lang ng smile? Ano ba, is my child or my son or my daughter really getting me? And it's something that you would need to work on and we would need to develop. Now, there is a science on why our kids don't listen. And the science here is due to counter will. Ayan. Have you ever heard this word counter will? Ayan. Put it in the comment box in there. Hello, Coach Vivi and Mayor Lorna. Maraming salamat. Counter will, this was first coined by Otto Rank, a Viennese psychoanalyst and student of Sigmund Freud. Ayan. So Freud, he's famous for psychology. And the term refers to the instinct to resist and counter and oppose when you feel controlled or coerced. So yan yung counter will. So for example, nag-enroll ka sa isang klase, or maybe yung boss, you're reporting to a boss, or maybe you have your spouse with you, and your spouse and your boss or your work or in training ask you to do something, but because you're not able to, you don't want to do it, that is called counter will. Hindi mo siya ginagawa. This term, by the way, this is a construct then of what was further developed by Dr. Gordon Newfield using the lessons of attachment and development. So yung counter will, ibig sabihin, pag hindi masyado yung malakas yung relationship mo with that individual, especially if you're a child, especially if you're not emotionally invested with your parents, or yung ikaw hindi ka emotionally invested sa mga anak mo, eventually that will cause that counter will because they don't have that much attachment with you. Kaya nga, di ba lagi kong nire-remind kayo ng mga parents is to make sure that you invest on emotional coaching. And emotional coaching is finding every opportunity for you to have a connection with your children. It is easy, but it's easy but it's difficult, 'di ba? Madali lang siya sabihin pero mahirap siyang gawin because of what is happening. The term refers to, again, an instinct as opposed to how you feel and being controlled. And you can feel it arise inside you when someone tells you what to think. Ayan. Di ba? Pag pinipilit ka ng taong ito dapat ang isipin mo, eventually your counter will activate. Ayan. Yan. O, counter will, o, maganda sinabi ni Coach Maripe, we see counter will as disrespect. O, tama. Yun naman talaga, Coach Maripe, ganun din ako eh. Pero meron talagang ibig sabihin yung counter will. And if you're doing something that people are forcing you to do, that triggers also counter will. If you're people are forcing you to feel something else, that is counter will. Kaya nga in coaching, di ba, we acknowledge the feelings, we acknowledge the emotions, we acknowledge the thoughts, we acknowledge the idea. We do not challenge that. Because if you are being challenged, and eventually yung counter will mo ay mag-activate. And this isn't a mistake or a flaw in human nature, and like all instinct, it serves as an important function. So may function po yung counter will. Hindi siya masama, hindi din siya it's not something that we need to stop our children from doing. And even for us, we need to be able to practice this counter will in the right way. And counter will is an innate response designed to protect ourselves when feeling coerced or when facing separation. Ayan, separation from the things that you're doing, separation from the enjoyment that you have, separation from the things that gives you joy. O yan, nagka-counter will tayo. A very good example here is if you have a goal. O di ba lahat naman tayo may goal? We have a goal in our life. And it's clear kung ano yung value mo doon. But of course, you will need to exert effort for you to make it happen. And eventually, if you're gonna do something uncomfortable, you're gonna do something that is not you, you're not used to it, it's something new, then eventually, your counter will be activated. Kaya may mga times, di ba, na nagwawala at nawawala tayo because of the counter will is to protect us from feeling that we are being forced to do something. At again, di ba, pag nagte-training ka, you have invested there, so you need to follow the process. Di ba? Follow the process. O minsan naisip ko, bakit nga ba ayoko sumunod? Ayan, because of the counter will. And people are prone to resist people who they are not connected with. So meron siyang pag hindi masyado malakas yung connection mo sa tao, your counter will, yung isa din yon is a defensive mechanism because you don't want to be separated to things that you do. The counter will instinct is also important in helping pave the way for separate functioning and becoming a unique self. So nakakatulong po tong counter will. So if your children are doing that, doing their counter will with you, at ayaw nilang gawin yung ginagawa mo, then you need to have a conversation. And I will share to you 3 tips in here on how you get your child to comply so that you can help them in a positive way, di ba? Part of figuring out who you are involves placing moratorium on other people's view, di ba? Na okay, I respect your perspective, I respect your point of view, but that doesn't mean that I need to, use that. And I need to put that in my life, but I will acknowledge it. It also helps you, manage the agendas of other people, have a deeper understanding on their agendas compared to you. It also helps with the wants and the wishes of the individual. Now, you're not being forced to do something that you don't really want. Again, doing something that you're not really want na negative yung impact sa'yo. And when other people's voices are louder than your own, the counter will instinct helps you create some space to resistance so that you can develop your own perspective. So ito na po yung pino-force na yung bata, ini-instilla na ng bata ng mga kung ano na hindi magaganda sa bata. And eventually, the child will really do or use their counter will. So minsan magtataka ka, di ba, bakit yung mga bata nagwawala? Yung parents naman parang mukha namang mabait and so on because they experience or the children experience that they're being forced to do something that they don't really want or they don't really understand. So again, counter will is useful if, as a parent, we're able to educate our children on where to utilize it and we're able to understand why our children activates this counter will. All right? So, how to get your child to comply? Ano bang gagawin natin para mag-comply yung mga bata? Minsan kasi ang nakakainis na pina-force na lang natin, di ba? I'll give you just 3 points. So, number one, the biggest thing that we are failing to do is to get their attention. Now you might say, Coach, ginagawa ko naman po, I'm asking for their attention. I'm shouting at them. Ay, hindi po yun attention. Na, di ba parang nasa first floor ka, kakain na, tapos nasa second floor sila, nasa room sila, sisigaw ka, kakain na! Or it's lunch already! Tapos nagtataka ka kung bakit hindi pa sila pumupunta doon. Tapos pumunta ka sa room, tapos you complain, oh, tinatawag ko kayo, hindi ko, ang dami na nating sinabi. But of course, your children doesn't hear you because their mind is somewhere else. They're doing something else. And getting their attention means there's a science here has proven that when children are engaged with what they are doing, they don't pay attention to what is going on around them. Di ba? Ito, in fact, is a research that points out that kids under the age of 14 lack the peripheral awareness. And explain that later. But if you think about it, kahit naman tayo, di ba, as adult, at times, we're doing something, we're focused on our work, or sometimes may meeting ka, then eventually tinawag ka, o di ba hindi mo naman naririnig kasi yung attention mo nga, yung peripheral awareness mo, andun lang nakafocus sa ginagawa mo. So we're not different from our children. We're just the same. Kasi ganun din yung the way na nangyayari sa atin and sa kanila. But of course, this one, I'm helping you at least see things in the different perspective so you understand your children. Now, the peripheral awareness means that if your child is focused on their cell phone, their laptop, a book, maybe they're playing, maybe they're watching TV or videos on YouTube and what have you, what happens is their brain is tuned into that activity and not much more. The same goes sa atin. When we're focused on doing things, we're just focused on there. For women, it's a little bit special because the part of your brain, the seven, merong 7 parts in there in your brain that all are activated when you listen. Sa lalaki kasi dalawa lang. And I explained this before. There's only two parts of the brain that's being activated for men. Kaya hindi kami masyado nakakapag, focus sa inyo. And peripheral awareness, think about the peripheral awareness is when nakasakay ka sa auto or maybe you're driving and you're not able to see straight at the road. Traffic, di ba? Traffic. Tapos hindi mo nakikita yung straight kung ano yung dun sa dulo, but you're able to see the other surroundings in that. That is a peripheral awareness, that you're able to see the outskirts of the mountains, some other people, yung nagbebenta ng taho, o di ba yung mga bagay na yan, nakikita mo yan lahat. So what this means is you must be making eye contact with your children. If you want to get attention from your children, make eye contact. Bumaba ka dun sa level nila. Hindi yung baba mo yung level. Bumaba ka dun sa level nila and you look at them in the face and talk to them. And ask them what to do. And encourage them as well to make eye contact so that you can ask them what you want for them to do and they can respond it back to you so that you understand and the person understands as well na parehas kayong pinag-uusapan. So that is the first one that you can do on how to get your child to comply. Again, this is in the context that you're teaching your children how to be independent and how to be responsible. Not to comply because gusto mo lang, trip mo lang. Hindi ganon yung context. All right? Number 2 is to change your approach. Yan. If you have been doing the first point already, nagagawa ko na coach, na master ko na yan, but and still getting repeatedly nagging or begging your child to do what you do, then it's time for you to create a new game plan. And the child or children don't quite understand the consequences of not being able to do those undesirable tasks. Like, cleaning the dishes is an undesirable task for our children. Ano pa ba? Paghugas ng damit, di ba? Cleaning their room, di ba? Cleaning after them when they're eating. These are something that's not comfortable or not desirable because it requires a lot of effort. But as adults, we also don't want to do some of these things like washing our clothes. Di ba? Ayaw din naman natin to paglilinis ng bahay. Ayaw din naman natin yan. But of course, change ang perspective and as we grow in wisdom, we're able to really enjoy this. Pero if you think about it, nung nag-i-start tayo, hindi naman natin nai-enjoy yung mga ginagawa natin ito. Hindi siya maganda. So children will learn what will happen if you change your approach. Children will learn to distract you by whining, di ba? By doing something else, by arguing with you or giving you the face or maybe ignoring you altogether. That will happen. But if you're always changing this approach, now you need to be more attentive with them. You need to have patience, more patience with them. This is something that you can start changing your approach and some strategies. So some of the strategies I started to utilize and that's worked by far. Not at the same result. Of course, you need to play around with it. You need to test with it. What you can do is seeing things eye to eye. That is one thing that you can do. Making sure your perspective and your son's perspective or daughter's perspective is the same. You also need to listen to your child, diba? That is one strategy that you can do. You know, find out why your child is complaining. This is one of the greatest things that I've utilized, and it works a lot because I'm able to understand now why my children is not complying with what I've said. And also keeping your cool. At times your child has less vocabulary and you have more vocabulary and you need to explain the words to them. And this is something that helps. And what you can also do is inject in there a little fun. And of course, the biggest one is being patient. So that is number two on how to get your child to comply. Number three, the biggest one for me, and I've utilized this most of my interaction with them and my connection with them is praise for success. Authentic praise. I'm talking about authentic praise. I mean, who does not want to receive praise, diba? If your child succeeds in doing what you ask them, tell them that they did a good job and appreciate their work and be authentic when you're doing it, diba? So, what does praise do? Ano ba nangyayari sa individual, even for you and other people, when you are praising someone? Well, it nurtures the child's confidence and how they see themselves. That's one. Number two is they become self-motivated when they are encouraged and supported. That is two. Three is their mental health and well-being is a lot better when you praise them. Four is they feel good about themselves. Hindi ba pag napapraise natin, napapraise ka, parang sarap-sarap ng feeling because you feel that you're able to do something, fulfilling, na may meaning yung ginawa mo. And number five is we teach them to be more in control because they know that the things that they've done is something that's reaping fruits. At may napupulot sila, it's something that they're benefiting. I always believe that we must learn to listen to our kids so our kids will listen to learn. At times, we get to be so impatient with our children that we force them to do something. And enforcing them just triggers or reminds them that, I need to be fearful about my parents, about my mom, about my dad, and I need to be careful of all of the things that I need to do. And it doesn't allow them to make mistakes. And if we're listening to our children clearly, not just the words that they say, but the nonverbal cues that they have, their expressions, their body language, their facial expressions, we are now able to understand how we can help our children listen to us so that they learn. This is a picture of my daughter and my son. My daughter, as I said, is 19 years old, and my son there is 15 years old. And this was the time that I still have hair. My hair is gone now. And that is something that I needed to do for, reasons of health. Yesterday, I talked to my son, and one of the things that I realized, because I was asking him to read the book, and the book is The Richest Man in Babylon. And for you moms and dads out there, I really encourage you to have a moment, read that book, and ask your children to read that because that book have a lot of wisdom in there to be able to teach your children how to manage finances and how to manage themselves and how to manage life. And yesterday I was talking to my son about it, and he read the book, but it wasn't consistent. You see, one of the things that me specifically as a parent is when I ask my children to do, I forget to follow through. I forget to be an accountability partner for them, and making sure that they're able to create a habit for them to start reading or to continue reading. And yesterday, I talked to my son, and he kind of skipped some of the reading bit. And instead of me being angry about it, which before I am usually do, I this three that I shared to you tips, I stopped all of the things that I'm doing. I talked to him. I asked him to take a look at me, and what I did is I shared my experience with him. Me growing up, my dad and my mom didn't really had that moment with me teaching me all of the things that I'm teaching them. It was only when I became a certified life coach 3 years ago that I really started changing the way I parent my children. I was part of those parents who shout and spank my children just for them to comply on things. But learning that for the last 19 years, it's not an effective thing to do. And what I did yesterday is I shared my son my story of growing up. And I told him that if I would have appreciated if my dad and my mom would have taught me the same way that I was teaching my children. Because that is something that I could have utilized as I grow in age, as I come into an adult. And I'm not saying that my mom and dad are bad. No, they're very, very great. They provided me with all of the things that I needed to do in their special way. But it's something that we can develop and do better. Um, those people who are in the higher class, what they usually do is they talk about a lot of different things, and they ask their children to read things, and the conversations is much greater than others. And if we're able to infuse to our children something, a book, a memory, an experience, it's something that they will cherish forever. And I would tell you it's something that they will appreciate in the future. They might not be seeing that right now. They might be complaining about the things that we're asking them to do. But when they start appreciating it, they start reflecting on it, they start understanding it, it just changes the way our children see the future, and how they see themselves, and how we allow them to, you know, have a deeper appreciation of the time that we're spending with them and the stories that we're sharing with them. There is value in the stories that you have. It can be good, it can be bad, it can be something that's daunting, it can be something that kung pwede na lang kalimutan mo. But that story of yours matter because it allows the future generation and even other people to realize and to acknowledge that they are not alone in this world. That there is someone out there that had a similar experience than them. And if we can start sharing that, I tell you, it just changes it. Like, I'm so proud of my children right now, seeing them na nakakausap na, they're emotionally invested. And that is something you as a parent can do as well. It's something that you can do. It's something that you can start investing on. And ang ganda kasi ng feeling. It's not perfect, there's still some work here and there that I need to do, but it's something that you can do. And if you are someone who wants to make that, create that positive ecology at home, where your children are doing the things that they love to do, and you're also following the things that you share to them, the wisdom that you share, I think that's just gonna give that peace in our heart and that harmony at home, di ba? Now we're able to see them grow, we're able to see them be successful, and we're able to have that peace in our heart that our children will do well when the Lord God asks us to come home, because our mission in this world is finally over. I would like to invite you to Master Coach A Co-Actively Co-Create Life Coaching Certification Program. 3 years ago, I started on a journey of becoming a certified life coach. And this year, I enrolled in this Co-Actively Co-Create Life Coaching Certification Program. And one of the things that I continuously, you know, feel amazed of how coaching is transforming the way I see my life. Master Coach has taught this inside the Master Coach Apprentice about perspectiving. And perspectiving just makes you put yourselves in the shoes of the person. It makes you understand more what the person is thinking about, what the person is feeling about, and what the person is seeing. Because when we're able to do that, we're able to build a much better ecology, a much better experience, a much better relationship at home. And you might be thinking, Coach, parang life coaching, parang ayoko naman i-professionalize yan. I mean, you don't have to professionalize this if you're not ready for that yet. But if you want to help your children become better, if you want to have a stronger relationship with them, I tell you this life coaching certification would really allow you to do that. Co-actively co-create, it means that you're partnering with your children to help them, be successful. And that is something that Master Coach is doing as a movement on awakening the sleeping giant and charging the warrior of our time to arise and advance to protect and nurture today's generation and the game changers, which is our children and their children's children. Kayang gawin. Eh. But of course, we need to make sacrifices for it to happen. And you might say, Coach, paano ba itong coaching na to? How would coaching help me as a parent? Well, coaching allows you to reestablish positive family relationships. Maybe there's some opportunity here and there in your relationship. Maybe there are broken relationship right now. Maybe your children are not talking to you. Maybe your spouse is not also talking to you. And this would allow you to start reestablishing that relationship. Coaching also improves lines of communication, that you're able to verbalize your thoughts without getting mad, without getting irritated, and always being patient about the person on their, the way that they're process things. Coaching also builds confidence and self-efficacy in parents and children because they are more confident that they're able to see the results, they're able to see themselves in the process, they see their value, they see who they are. And coaching also helps the parents develop problem solving skills and creativity skills. And all of these things, when we as parents are able to learn, we're able to pass this down to our children. And it's a shortcut way for you to not go through the same experience that most of the parents have, that they continue to struggle, um, making their children do something that the children will benefit. This is how coaching would allow you to be empowered as a parent. So, what is life coaching? Well, coaching is unlocking a person's potential to maximize their own performance. It is helping them to learn rather than teaching them. So, imagine mo in your experiences, you're learning in the process. And coaching is also based on the belief that the coachee always has the answer to their own problems. That's why it's so empowering and the individual understand it. Coaching also helps people reach their full potential by helping them to unlock their thinking and remove the barriers. And it's worth noting that these barriers are often mental. It's only in our mind, created by the themselves. So your children have that one too. So if you have the coaching skills, I tell you, things will change. And lastly, in coaching, the coach doesn't advise, and all of the content is the coachee. Because for this reason, the coach does not need to have direct experience of the coach's role. Na hindi mo kailangan mainis sa anak mo, na hindi mo kailangan mairita. Because they have their different journeys, and as a parent, we need to be able to be there to support them as their journey and age. So for those of you who's watched this video, I'm offering you a free gift. And this is an ebook where you can start understanding the stages of change, so you can have a deeper appreciation of how your children are changing when you start to utilize these tips that I'm sharing with you, this wisdom, the nuggets in your parenting style. Because at the end of the day, if we want to be able to help our children, we need to appreciate the change and the progress that they have so that they can also start appreciating their progress and how they're growing as they age. What you only need to do is to like my page and message me at Coach Shaun De Hoya. Just like there, message me, and I'll share to you the ebook. All right. So again, inviting you to co-actively co-create life coaching certification program. Connect with Coach Rizal. Call 0917-586-1661 or send your email to connect@mastercoacha.com. So thank you for joining me this afternoon, this morning. I hope you're able to get some nuggets in here. Share your hashtag by bag moments in your timelines, your group, and your page. Bless your friends as well in the process. Bless the parents, so we can start helping them change the way the future would be. Because times are changing right now. This pandemic has changed a lot of things, and it's time for us to start changing the way we parent are changing our how our parenting is changing our children. So as I end the conversation, let me invite you again to be part of what we are doing as an organization of professional certified life coaches. Do join us for another episode of Coaching Conversation, for another coaching conversation later with Coach Nards at 2 p.m. for intentional living, and Coach Phoebe for self-literacy at 4 p.m. So 2 p.m. and 4 p.m., same page, Life Coach Philippines. Again, inviting you to co-actively co-create life coaching certification program. This is a comprehensive approach to learning and mastering life coaching as an active process of creating a new path to achieve results in life so that you are, succeed. Your success is inevitable in every coaching relationship. It includes a 21-day web-based learning, a 3-day live coaching bootcamp, and with Master Coach A, and a 3-day live coaching bootcamp with senior coaching team. The package also includes a lot of bonuses in there. I tell you, a lot of blessings in there. Connect with Coach Giselle through 0917-586-1661 to discover the opportunities waiting for you this profession. All right. So once again, thank you very much. I'm Coach Shaun De Hoya from Life Coach Philippines for Coaching Think Talk. Coaches like us think and talk like this. This is us in the Philippines. Maraming salamat. Love, bam, boom. Love, bam, boom. Love, bam, boom. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.